That story explains a great deal about Nar.
As for Nar, there is far more to be said of his tale.
And I shall tell the tale as briefly as I might. Nar was brought to Thrine in Zudragund, and there told his tale, and spoke the name of Azog, which all Longbeards have held with hatred ever since. All Thror's court wept at the tidings, and tore their beards. They looked to Thrain, who sat down heavily upon his father's throne, and was silent. Breaking the silence, Thorn said, "You are king now, father. What is your will? How shall we answer this outrage?" All around the court, hands went to sword hilts and axe handles, and brows lowered darkly. But still Thrain sat silent, and did not move. 7 days he remained thus, still as a stone, saying no word. Then, as a storm long gathered that breaks upon the mountainside, he arose, eyes ablaze, and cried, "This can not be borne!" From Thrain's yearning for vengeance arose the Sixth War of Dwarves and Orcs, called simply the War of Dwarves and Orcs in our memory. Ah, but that is another tale. Another tale. Whew. I presume this is going to be an even longer one.
Let us hope that Nar has found some measure of happiness again, even at so old an age. It is the very least he deserves.
Since his return, Nar has made many friends in the Lonely Mountain. When he feels well enough to visit us here in Akrazahar, I have heard him laugh and seen the light of his eyes when he smiles. Although it pains me to even think such a thing, perhaps his ailment has been something of a mercy, some small kindness bestowed upon him by the first crafter. Let us hope that Nar has found some measure of happiness again, even at so old an age. It is the very least that he deserves. Now then, I must tend to the task King Thorin gave me, and you ought to begin your studies of my grandfather's work. That's quite a stack of books there. Yes, those books will tell you all you need to know about the Battle of Oz and Ubazar, Pineleaf. When you've studied it enough for your liking, you are to return to the King under the mountain. With any luck, I'll see you again soon. I'll see you again soon. Let's see. That's quite a collection. Now, where shall I begin? This appears like it's going to be a long story. It was at the behest of Dain, my dear friend and king under the mountain, that I embarked upon the writing of a complete account of the Sixth War of the Dwarves and Orcs. For too long Durin's folk had endured hardship after hardship, and it did not seem proper to dwell on such a sorrowful chapter in our history. Where my own memory and experiences did not serve the tale, I enlisted the accounts of others, chief among them the sons of Fundin and Groin, and by his own request King Dain. For this they have my truest gratitude. As a final note, I have labored to construct this tale that the reader may see it through my own eyes. If I should interject on occasion, it is only to make clear certain details or include aspects of the tale learned long upon the war's end. Beneath the foreword, you see a notice. For Durin. For Durin. By the winter of Third Age, 2799, King Thrain and his great reckoning host, the Habanaka, had made camp upon Amdun, the ancient threshold of the kingdom of Khazad-dûm. It has been a long journey, for they had made a wide march around Lorien and came up from the south, treading the old stones of the Great Way. All through Amdun, dwarves of the seven houses grew restless. I, like all of the Iron Folk, were camped near the house of Thrain. Although few of us knew it at the time, it was to be the eve of battle. The eve of battle. In the distance you see Habanaka of Thrain encamped at Amdun. Well then, let's go and rally with the Iron Folk then. Hold on. Yeah, alright. Now let's go and find everyone to make sure that I didn't leave out anything. Ooh, they are massing quite an army here. Quite an army. Where are they all gathering? As you walk among the Iron Folk, you catch sight of Dain. Ah, there he is. Hemeth, my friend, I was beginning to think we lost you on the Great Way. It is hard to believe that we are here at last. I have read the stories of old Azamubazar, but none of them could describe it in such detail. It seems fitting that the war should end right where it began, don't you think? And if what I have heard is true, we will not have to sit idle for much longer. Well, if it's going to be the eve of battle, I guess not.
According to my father, King Thrain intends to call the other houses to council this evening.
The sons of the other kings and lords have been invited as well. So being the grandson of the Lord of the Iron Hills, so have I. You may not be of my blood, but you are my brother, Hermath. A great battle awaits us in the morrow, and we must be prepared for it. Will you accompany me to the council? Yes, I will. Let's go.
Beyond the foothills of Xeroxigil, the dwarves of the Habanaka at last glimpsed Azanul Bizarre. It lay barren and silent, and so too had it seemed to Thror when he met his end at the hands of Azog. On the eve of battle, King Thrain called the kings of the seven houses to council at Amdun.
I think we're in luck, Hermath.
It doesn't sound like they've started yet, but we'd better hurry over. Come on. Welcome to it at last. Too long has my father's shade awaited what the morrow brings. Too long has the defilement of his body gone unanswered. Too long has the coward Azog hidden in our ancient home, his hands stained with noble blood. Too long! And so he sent his sons to fight in his stead. There was Komog, who fell in the halls of Gundabad, and whose skull now adorns my banner. Then there was Uro, the eldest, whose hand was severed by my son Frerin. And then there was Bolg, who fled from battle. The line of Azag is spent. For 9 long years he has eluded us, but no longer. No longer! And thus he begins. A great battle awaits us at Azanul Bazaar. All will be ordered as I and the other kings of the 7 houses have resolved. Drogar and Agni, you shall lead your warriors onto the slopes of Zirak-Zigel. Zirakhar is overrun, and it must be reclaimed. Valid and Usk, your warriors must cross Kibianala and climb the slopes of Bundashathor. If the orcs hold the warding spire, none of our movements in the dale will go beneath their notice. Yagin and Timonir shall aid the Ladrim and the Narfang Hoth at Zergazigel. As for your keen-eyed scouts, let them learn what they might of Azag's designs. Shalib, you shall send half of your warriors to Atrazarkov and bolster the Kambrata and Jaruka. The rest will assemble along the outer edges of the dale. If any orcs mean to escape our wrath, the Abnerzu will slay them to the last. What of your kin, Thrain? We will walk the great way proudly, as our forefathers did. And we shall meet the orcs in battle from Amdon to the very gates of Khazad-dûm. My sons and I will lead the vanguard, and the sons of Fraun will march beside us. Not only the sons, but the fathers also. I will not sit by playing the dotard while the blade of others drink their fill. What of the Iron Hills? Surely we will not be kept idle. Not idle, cousin, but in reserve. The Iron Folk will answer the horn calls of the others, should any part of the battle turn wrongly. And if not, will we simply sit by, and if the victory comes without woe? Pray, cousin, when has that ever come to pass? Let those questions be answered on the morrow. For tonight, let us sleep while we may. For we shall not rest again until Azag is slain. Baruch Kazad! Kazad Imenu! For Thror! Bazooka-zad! As Thrain and the others prepare to take rest, Dine beckons you over. And before I do that, here are the 7 banners of the 7 houses. I would presume that the middle one would be the Longbeards. since that shows Khazad-dûm, the 3 mountains there. And there we have the hammer. Let's see, what is that? That's a rather strange one. A tree, that's an unusual one for dwarves. Scrolls and scales. I think that needs captions so I could know which ones are which. What do you say, Dai?
I hope my father did not think me imprudent in my concern. At the very least, I seem to have amused our elders and some of the kings.
I could not tell. He, too, was displeased, and that the Iron Folk would be held in reserve, but a dwarf of his station will not dare say as much. At the very least, I seem to have amused our elders and some of the kings. I fear we have a long day ahead of us on the morrow, my friend. Let us sleep while we might. Yes, I am sure that we will need some sleep.
Rest well, friend. I shall see you in the morn.
I shall see you in the morn. The speeches are over, and we're preparing for battle. How will it go? And what will happen to the reserves? Perhaps we could find out some of that in the next episode of The Legacy of Durin.